and I think it was another play that they had where, they had an opportunity to score. But I like the aggressiveness, and that's been Zach Taylor like his entire time. He also trusts Joe Burrow, so I agree with it. I think if I'm the Broncos, though, where Marvin Mims catches that touchdown over two people, I'm going for two, Craig. That is a momentum killer, morale killer. Like, if I'm on the defense, I'm stressing in my head, like, how did I just give this? Their head's not in the game right now, Craig. We got to attack while they're down.
I totally agree on the going for two. If you're not as talented, which the Broncos are not, even though they've been the better team all year, I think you just have to say, like, I'm willing to take the randomness of one play. My thing with Zach Taylor's decision making is I feel like he went for it and or went for the field goal and went for the touchdown in the wrong places. And specifically, I actually love that he went for the touchdown at the end of regulation. Of course, they left too much time, but that's the point: is you left too much time. Teams often will take the knee, then kick the field goal, and I'm like, take the knee and from the 1 yard line, give yourself a shot at a touchdown first. But make them burn their timeouts. Make it so that you take the last shot, if you will. And the fact that they, on second down, sneak it in for the touchdown, or was it even first down?
Now, it was second down because Chase Brown hurt himself trying to get down at the 1 yard line.
Right.
So they had to burn the timeout. What's up?
Right. Which is unfortunate. Fine. But, okay, once you do that, the strategy doesn't change. We still have to try to kill the clock here. Or at the very least, when we give them the ball back, then you, and maybe they thought, oh, this is our best chance. We'll catch them by surprise, whatever. But, I kind of think that once you make that, once you decide, hey, we're not just going to score at first, let us go ahead and kill this clock. And that way, if they do get the ball back, down a touchdown, needing a touchdown to score, they don't have timeouts.
Yeah. And
so that was the thing that killed me. Then in overtime, similar situation, they go the other way, but they get a stop, and then Joe Burrows, and it all works out in the end. Night game on Saturday was, I have too many tabs open.
The Rams?
The Rams, 13, Cardinals, 9. Kyler Murray, man, that was yet another red zone pick. Just big spot interception seems to be his thing in December. And I saw a very funny post that asked if the Cardinals would still blame Cliff Kingsbury for their late season collapse now that he's in Washington.
That's actually hilarious. That is hilarious. I don't think you can.
I don't think so either. Clearly, Sean's a funny guy sometimes because I feel like he can take on different personalities. And I think he knew that a tie gets them the division win here, and he played super conservatively. And it could have burned him. I mean, Kyler throws a late pick in the end zone. That's caught by the team that he wanted it to be in a 13-9 game. Math says you're in trouble there. But Puka, 10 catches, 129. Rams are in and have eliminated the Seahawks. So their game against Seattle this weekend is meaningless. All right, we'll roll through the Sunday football next, as it's a fairly light schedule. We can roll through all these games. Real quick, Anthony, how do we do on the picks? We both got it right on Christmas, Chiefs and Ravens. Seahawks, we're 3-0 going into the weekend. Chargers, check. Bengals, check. Rams, check.
Yes, sir.
Undefeated on our picks. I don't think that lasted on Sunday. We'll talk about it next on the Hoffman Show on the Team 980 and always live on the free Odyssey app. We continue our trip around the NFL in 30 seconds here on the Hoffman Show. But Anthony, the YouTube stream for some reason got kicked off for a second. And Spaffron commented, I think the bad takes got the stream canceled.
Good gracious.
Pretty funny.
He has a point.
Sure does. You know who didn't have a point? All the people in the chat with the bad takes. Yeah, but they're not there anymore apparently. But the YouTube stream is back up at the Team 980. Again, if for some reason there's a tech issue with any of the ways that you listen or watch, there's always another option. It's the beauty of our show. We're always, of course, on your radio at the Team 980. That's 980 AM or 1067 HD2 FM if you have an HD radio. The Odyssey app is working always on your phones, tablets. You can also go to the team980.com and listen on a laptop or, of course, on YouTube at the Team 980. Anthony, I think, speaking of technology working, Hey now. I got the music on my side of things. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're rolling. We're back in it. Time to continue our trip around the NFL, where we take a look at each and every game, a couple pieces of analysis, and I hate the New York Jets with every fiber of my soul.
Yep, I know.
Oh, my God, that team sucks. 40-0, they were down before Tyrod Taylor comes in after Aaron Rodgers benched himself. Apparently, he went to the coaches and was like, hey, I think it's time for Tyrod. I think we're good for today. They were trying to get him his 500th touchdown pass. He didn't get it. I would love for them to bench him this weekend and play Tyrod in Week 18 and then him never to get a job in the NFL again and finish without ever getting his 500th touchdown pass. The only record Aaron Rodgers broke in this game was the all-time sacks record. He's now been sacked more than Tom Brady was. Bills 40, Jets 14. Anthony, I was dumb enough not just to pick them on the pick show last week because they were 10-point dogs in a division game. You're really going to lose by 10 to a divisional opponent? I picked them on Competition Wednesday. I'm a moron.
I would say I hate that for you, Craig, but after 5 consecutive weeks of losing Competition Wednesday,
Anthony, I'm pretty sure
there's
that
a
you're going to
glimmer
go
of
on a
hope.
winning streak this week. I don't feel good about what I did last week, and I should have known better. It's my fault because I picked the Jets, and as I said on this week's First Impression Selection show, the digital show that I do on YouTube where we pick games against the spread, the only people that hate the Jets more than me are their own fans.
Yep.
Raiders, but we picked the Bills straight up, so we're fine here. Raiders and Saints. The Raiders win 25-10. Man, what a terrible day for Spencer Rattler. I don't think we need to talk about this game, but it was a bad day for Spencer Rattler, and the Raiders won in New Orleans. Nobody wants the number 1 pick, apparently.
You didn't pick the Saints.
Who did I pick?
Pick the Raiders.
I did?
I did too.
Cool.
I think I wrote that wrong, though. I'm pretty sure you picked the Saints and I picked the Raiders because I was trying to make up games. We didn't know who was going to win this game. Okay, I'm going to go revisit the tape.
You can check the tape. Whatever happened, happened. Sure. I don't know. We missed this one because speaking of teams that don't want the number 1 pick, Giants, what are you doing? Bigger question. Colts, what are you doing? 45-33. The New York Giants, one of the most inept football teams the entire year, specifically on offense, put up a 45 spot thanks to 7 catches, 171 yards, and 2 touchdowns from Malik Neighbors, including the game-sealing touchdown, a screen to Neighbors that he scampers 59 yards on, where 2 Colts defenders run into each other like it's Keystone Cops. Look, we love Zaire Franklin on this show. He's one of Anthony's great friends. We share an alma mater at Syracuse. Z's been on the show. He leads the NFL in tackles. He's a great player. I would love it for Z if he had less tackles because anyone else on his team could tackle.
Man, Craig, oh my. To the New York Giants. Games you have to win, you lose to the Giants?
Drew Lock went 17 of 23 for 309, 4 touchdowns, no picks. That's a QBR of 97.5. It only goes to 100. And I believe the perfect quarterback rating is 158.3. He was 155.3. In a must-win game for your playoff lives, you give up that to Drew Lock.
Drew Lock.
All due respect to Drew Lock. Very nice guy. Interviewed him at the Senior Bowl a bunch of years ago.
Unbelievable, dog. Unbelievable. Man, there were some choice words after the game that I had, but I won't share those.
It's good. I would like us to stay employed and not fined. Flacco, 26 for 38, 330, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Jonathan Taylor had 32 carries for $125 and 2 touchdowns, but not enough because the Colts defense did not have a good day. Neither did the Cowboys defense. I said, hey, there's a chance that Michael Parsons and that pass rush is too much for Kenny Pickett. They knocked Pickett out of the game. Tanner McKee then came in and just threw the ball up to A.J. Brown. Things went great. Devontae Smith, 6 for 122 touchdowns. Barkley had 167 on the ground. I mean, Tanner McKee was 3 for 4 for 54 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks. Dude threw 3 passes, or completed 3 passes. 2 of them were for touchdowns. What?
Yeah, he threw one at A.J. Brown, and A.J. Brown threw his ball, his first TD pass ever.
That was so funny.
Into the stands, and everybody's like, he's on the sideline like, no. But also, shout out to Saquon. 2,000 yards on the year. Do you think he breaks it next week, or do you think they rest him?
I kind of think that he does because I think that's kind of the only thing to play for them. I mean, they're facing the Giants. It ain't exactly the hardest task. I would not play him, probably. I would probably just be like, you're too important, especially considering that Jalen Hurts probably isn't going to play either. Like, I would not risk that. So if, like, Tanner McKee is going to be your quarterback, because also Pickett is banged up with the ribs. So, to me, it depends on what else they do. By the way, in this game, again, no other wide receiver other than Smith and Brown have catches. It's 6 for Smith, 3 for Brown. Tight ends, 2 of them, or one of them has a catch. 2 catches for Barkley, 1 catch for Gainwell. That's 13 total completions in the game. They scored 41 points.
That's pretty impressive, Craig, if you ask me.
Yeah, Trey Lance also made an appearance in this game. He had,
oh, my gosh.
1 for 1 yard. He also had 1 carry for 1 yard rushing.
Yeah. I saw that way.
An absolutely amazing statistical day for Trey Lance. Speaking of teams that put up a bleep ton of points, just dump trucks of points. Baker threw for not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 touchdowns. Bucky Irving over 100 as well, as the Panthers just completely let go of the rope against the Buccaneers. 48-14 with the Commanders beating the Falcons. That means the Bucs are now in control of the NFC South, and there is a chance that Washington could wind up playing at Tampa if Seattle beats the Rams, even though Seattle's already been eliminated. If they beat the Rams, the Bucs win, and the Commanders win, Washington would then start its playoffs the same way that it starts its regular season, look to avoid ending its season where it started on the road underneath that pirate ship in Tampa.
Yeah, that would be crazy. But it would, I guess, be a testament to where Jaden started, and I guess where he is
I like
now.
Washington in that game. Look, I like Baker the way he's playing right now, but I don't know. I think in a couple of weeks he'd probably be due for another stinker, due for like 3 picks. I think Washington could do that. Bro, if we got Marshawn Lattimore
versus
and
Mike
Evans in the playoffs, nothing will heal your hamstring like getting to fight your rival.
Man.
And possibly literally because they fight every time they play.
Yeah, that would be crazy. That would be fitting. Oh, Mike.
Be fun. There's also an outside chance that they're playing on the road in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. Titans, Jags. Jags 20, Titans 13. Did we get this game right?
Yeah, we both got the Jags.
Nice. We don't need to talk about it anymore. Other than Brian Thomas Jr. is awesome, and it's ridiculous that LSU lost 4 games with Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, and Brian Thomas on the field last year. Dolphins 20, Browns 3. I know DTR's or Jameis is not good. Why are they playing DTR? I guess at this point you're gunning for the number 1 pick.
Yeah, they tanking. Smart.
Honestly, bravo, Kevin Stefanski. I hope that you're not searching for a job. Actually, I don't really care. Vikings 27, Packers 25, and the game that actually had huge playoff implications yesterday. Darnold, 33 of 43 for 377 and 3 touchdowns. And this game comes down to a very simple fact in a lot of ways, Anthony. And that fact is the Packers cannot beat man coverage. There are 38 quarterbacks who qualify, meet the threshold to meet the statistic and how they rank, EPA per play and whatever else against coverages, right? So against man coverage, 38 quarterbacks qualify, have the minimum number of attempts. Jordan Love is 34th against man coverage. Their receivers, they got a bunch of them. None of them are that good. And that is a huge problem in the playoffs. And the Vikings played man coverage basically the entire game in 3rd and 4th downs against Green Bay, and they couldn't win. They made it interesting late. Jordan got real hot in the second half, but damage had been done. Vikings 27, Packers 25. Minnesota hosts Detroit for a shot at the 1 seed on Sunday Night Football on Sunday. Anthony, did we just miss like 1 game?
We missed 2. We missed the Colts, and then we missed the Packers. Oh,
we took the Packers?
Yeah, you chose the Packers.
Dang. Why'd I do that?
I don't know.
Did you?
I chose the Packers as well.
Why'd you do that?
Well, divisional game didn't think the Packers would get swept this season. And they did.
Yeah.
They needed Christian Watson, I think, to stretch the field.
He's a guy that can beat man coverage. So there's that. All right. Well, that's our trip around the NFL. When we get back, our pick 6 on Friday. Talk about picking 6 players outside of the quarterbacks that we thought were going to affect the game. Oh, you can tell the story of Commanders and Falcons through the 6 players that we chose. We review the game through the lens of those 6. Next, it's the Hoffman Show on the Team 980 and always live on the free Odyssey app. It's the Hoffman Show. We're on the Team 980, always live as well on the free Odyssey app. In that hour open, you heard Adam Amin, who might be on the show tomorrow, Anthony. Just saying. Got to talk to him. We got to figure out our plans. My guy's coming to town because the Bulls are here playing the Wizards on Wednesday. Wizards-Knicks tonight at Capital One Arena, rematch of the weekend when Jalen Brunson dropped 50 to rescue a Knicks win over the Zardos. We're not going to talk to Dave today because we're all football here on a Victory Monday. But we will talk to Dave later in the week as the Wizards continue. And the game is, of course, here tonight on the Team 980. So if you want your Dave Johnson fix, just stay tuned after us. 6:45, the festivities get going. Right now, though, it's time for our Pick 6 at 6.
The 6 biggest Commander storylines.
It is caught!
Delivered at 6 o'clock sharp. It's the Pick 6 at 6.
We set out to find a leader, someone who could take this franchise to the next level, build an elite team that consistently competes for championships.
All right, let's get it started with number 1. Of course, we pick 6 players on Friday that we think could be, or that we think will shape the course of the game for the Commanders on Sunday. Jaden Daniels is not eligible to be picked. Opposing players are eligible except for their quarterback. So no Daniels, no Penix. And number 1, we went with, Anthony, the B-Robs. Both Bijan Robinson and Brian Robinson. And their impact on the game, you might say, was quite large.
Yeah, definitely in the first half, Bijan Robinson, he definitely set the tone early and often. Really, the offensive line of the Atlanta Falcons, they were able to get the ground game going. They were able to control the ball and keep the Commanders' offense off the field. And he ended up, getting 2 touchdowns. And, well, that was in the first half anyway. And then I want to say in the second half, I think we did a good job of responding. I think you touched on it earlier when you spoke about the Commanders adjusting and moving Deron Payne to the edge, set the edge and things of that nature, and we were able to, stifle them a little bit. So I think it was a tale of 2 halves when it comes to, stopping and defending the run. And then on the other side with Brian Robinson, he had 13 carries, 60 yards.
They got him going a little bit for a stretch there. The run game in general was just stilted, and it really comes down to the line play. I mean, I think a lot more of this is about the line play. I will say Bijan Robinson, which I believe is the correct pronunciation based off the player card, by the way, yesterday. I'm not saying that because I don't know how to say his name. I believe the way that it was written on the official pronunciation is Bijan. So if it's actually Bijan the way everyone's been saying it, then, fine. But whatever. The Falcons guy, number 7. Literally first carry of the game. I mentioned the stat last week that he leads the NFL in broke tackles, and that he has actually the 4th best broken tackle season since 2018. He's having a historically great season in that realm, and he just spills a tackle in the backfield. You're like, oh, here we go. I think Dorrance Armstrong has him dead to rights, and against 30 backs in the league, he's fine. Against Saquon and Robinson, whoops, miss, gone. And he gets 4 or 5 yards, if not more. So he makes a ton of those runs work because he's able to slip tackles in the backfield or in the hole and just pick up extra yardage all over the place. I think the other place that he and obviously we're not going to talk about Kyle Pitts because we didn't pick him, but they do some cool stuff. I actually really like Atlanta's offense, the way it's built. It's very, very well structured. And what they'll do sometimes is they'll put Robinson or Kyle Pitts outside, wide, with Drake London in the slot. And so what that does, if you're doing that on a 3rd down specifically where you anticipate the defense is going to play man, is because the linebacker or the safety that's going to be one-on-one on either the tight end or the running back then lines up at basically outside corner, Michael Davis, who was the outside corner, is the most outside guy covering a wide receiver, but he's in the slot. And so now Drake London has a 2-way go. And so they pick up a 1st down at one point because they're able to get an easy out because it's basically a choice route for Drake London with a 2-way go. He can break in, he can break out. And Michael Davis is not a slot corner, but Drake London is skilled enough to do it. Pitts is skilled enough to be legitimately dangerous outside, and so is Robinson. He actually smokes Quan Martin on a double move in this game, and Penix misses the throw. So huge, huge impact with touching the ball, with just where he is on the field. And unfortunately for the Falcons, it just wasn't enough to win the game. For Brian Robinson, like, I would like to see a little more Chris Rodriguez, frankly. I think B-Rob's playing okay. He's running hard, but I think Chris Rodriguez is just fresher and is seeing the field a little bit better. He also, I think the other big thing is B-Rob, his pass protection has been very up and down, and Chris Rodriguez has also been up and down at times, but he's been a little more up lately. So it would not surprise me if in Week 18 we start to see a little bit more even distribution of those snaps, and especially considering C-Rod got a lot of snaps and important drives late in that football game.
Number 2.
Number 2 in our pick 6 at 6 was Luke, because we thought that Luke McCaffrey, or at least I thought that Luke McCaffrey would have a big impact on this game. Whoops. This is kind of our one miss. He only did Luke McCaffrey, 22 of the 83 snaps. He was in for 12 passing downs and 10 run blocking downs, and he was perfectly mediocre at all of it. I don't think he had a catch in the game. He graded out as a 61 run blocker, which is like not tragically bad, but obviously not very good. He didn't get the screen stuff that I thought he would get. I really would love to know a little bit more inside Cliff Kingsbury and Jaden Daniels' mind about Luke McCaffrey, because I do think that there's a little bit more to offer. But ultimately, they're choosing to go other directions, and I have to just trust that they're not doing that to spite themselves, because he's one of their draft picks. Of course, if they were to have any bias, it should be towards Luke McCaffrey. But good job on the kickoff return that you got, Luke. I only think he got one, and the rest of them were touchbacks. He did a really good job. He had another plus return, but it does not look like he is. He's just going to be a feature part of this offense, no matter who's out there this year.
Yeah, I feel like every time we think his number is going to get called, they just go a different direction. And, I mean, the other guys, OZ, he stepped up. Jameson stepped up.
Sure did.
So,
I mean, OZ had a phenomenal game, and if it wasn't for that Cosme hold, would have had another multi-touchdown game. The toughness that he runs with, you're reminded why he was the punt returner. And I think Crowder's the better option back there. I think he's shiftier, and I think that's more important than running through tackles, because it's really hard to run through tackles on punt return, because those guys are coming at you full speed just as you're getting started. So a guy like Crowder, who can flat out make them miss, is better versus, hey, it's a much shorter area. It's a little more toughness, run through stuff that the routes that OZ is catching, where he's coming at full speed on a slant and then running through a safety. But you see that elusiveness in a power form for some of this yak that he's getting, and it's really, really impressive. But they need Diami back badly. And obviously we think that Noah Brown's done for the year, but it is a reminder that when teams can that hyper focus on Terry McLaurin, it is really, really hard. And also, Terry picked up an injury late in the week last week, I guess. He had like an ankle situation and just not 100%. So let's make sure that he's good for the playoffs, because you are going to need him. Number 3 on our list.
Number 3.
Anthony, you picked the BSJ, Michael Davis, whoever is facing Marshawn Lattimore combo. How'd that go?
Not good. Michael Davis, I want to say it was the Falcons' second drive. He had the PI in the back of the end zone. BSJ, I mean, they were both rotating, but I just feel like
it was
up.
mostly Michael Davis. He, BSJ only played 15 snaps, and some of those were when Davis got hurt on like the second play. But I mean, all 3 corners did not have a good day. I'm sorry, it just is a fact, right? BSJ had the best day by a lot, frankly. Now, he also only played 15 snaps, so much smaller sample size, but Michael Davis graded out at a 33.8 on PFF. Mike Sainer still graded out on at a 44.7. And frankly, I don't even know if that's the right order. Also, PFF hates Daron Payne. I don't know why. I thought Daron was good, and they graded him at a 39.2. That feels insane, but whatever. We'll talk about that another time. But Sainer still, Davis only gets the PI on that drive because Sainer still lines up in the neutral zone on field goal block.
Yeah,
what are we doing? The Davis penalty on that PI is absolutely 100% the correct call. It's also a little bit unfortunate, but it's also unfortunate in a way that's indicative of some of the problems that Davis has, which is his awareness rating, if you will, seems to be a little low. because when a guy's in the back of the end zone, giving him a little chuck out of bounds is kind of smart because they're not going to call illegal contact on you. And when you get in a scramble drill situation, the quarterback breaks the pocket, there is no such thing as illegal contact. So as the play extends a little bit to just be like, oh, you're on the back line, I'm going to make it so you can't catch the ball. You're out of bounds. The problem was he doesn't realize that the ball's already been thrown. So now instead of this being a smart play, a heads-up play to kind of eliminate Drake London from the play, it's PI. And you give up a touchdown that way on a very silly drive with 2 very silly penalties. Later in the game, he, again, just like seems to lose track of the ball and the down. He's just kind of got his eyes on the receiver and it's zone coverage. And you're like, dude, aren't you watching the quarterback? If you had any awareness here, this is an easy PBU. And instead he gives up on like the penultimate or one of the final drives or plays before the Riley Patterson mixed field goal. He gives up this super deep comeback and he's like in great position. He's just no awareness. Meanwhile, I thought BSJ played well, covered well. His run fits I thought were really good. I know he's the closest guy on the touchdown on the edge to Robinson, but that's you have to have a harder edge set. You can't give Bijan a straight line to the corner, and the ball's at the 3.5 yard line, and he stops him with that. Obviously, pushes him out of bounds. He's kind of got the ball in the back motion running. And so it's not a touchdown. It's overruled. So ultimately, BSJ pushes Robinson out for like a 3-yard gain. If that's in the middle of the field, like that's a good, excellent job. You got isolated outside because your edge failed and your safeties are nowhere to be found because they're playing a lot closer to the line of scrimmage and you forced a 3.5 yard gain. That's a pretty good job. It's just there was only 3.5 yards of field left. So I don't really put that on BSJ. And he had 2 other really nice run fits earlier in the drive on back-to-back plays. So I don't know what you do at corner. You pray that Lattimore comes back. I'd probably play BSJ over Davis in Week 18 because I just think Davis, there's just not enough there, and BSJ at least has some upside. But then again, maybe Davis is weak to be great because Davis is also super physical. It's not like it's all bad, right? Like he hits people. And also on that same play where he gives up the deep comeback, he keeps the receiver in bounds. So at the very least, the clock keeps running, and then Raheem Morris gives his clock management gift, and the field goal winds up way longer than it should be for Patterson, and he misses it. So, yeah, it was a bad day for the corners. And Sanders still was, like, beyond the offsides, Sanders still had the most concerning day, frankly, because there's just stuff where his technique is so bad that he doesn't even give himself a chance. So that's got to get cleaned up going into the playoffs, and I think it's a reminder of why they maybe wanted him covering less skilled receivers, less outside guys, more let's keep him in the slot and use some of the quickness and the physicality that he plays with in a different position. When we get back, we will continue counting down our pick 6. Zach Ertz, Jeremy Chin, Dante Fowler. Yeah, those are the last 3 big impacts to discuss. But first, let's get an update on the latest in the world of women's sports, presented by Wawa. Chicken, how you want it at Wawa, with customizable crispy or roasted chicken sandwiches. It's the Hoffman Show. We're on the Team 980, always live as well on the free Odyssey app. Just over 20 minutes left in the program before we hand things over to Dave Johnson at Capital One Arena for the second of two between the Wizards and Knicks. Zardos fell hard late on Saturday, 50 points for Jalen Brunson. Tonight they will host the Knicks again. Right now we're in the middle of our pick six. We pick 6 players on Fridays that we think will have a big impact in the game for the Commanders and whoever they're playing. We then review how those picks went on Monday. Of course, the quarterbacks aren't eligible. And so we continue things with a guy who was arguably the second most important guy outside of the Commanders quarterback on Sunday.
Number 4.
Zach Ertz caught the game winner. Good pick. Good pick, guy. Well done. Well done, Hoffman. Basically, the logic was this. You look around, Diami's out, Noah Brown's out, Terry's a little banged up, someone's got to catch passes, and Zach Ertz did exactly what they needed him to do. And I thought there was a great quote from Dan Quinn today. He was asked, what were your expectations for Zach Ertz? And he was basically like, I just wanted him to be awesome in the third down and red zone. And if he was that for us, great. It's worth it with everything else that he brings. And if he's more, then even better. And obviously, Zach has been so much more. He's been a first and second down player on top of a third down player. He has been their starting legitimate tight end one the entire season. And they definitely missed him when he was out. And he has just been an essential part of Jaden's ascension because he is the safety blanket. And he's still a weapon in the red zone. He just understands the small spaces and the angles that you need to have. He knows how to beat man coverage, even though he's not nearly as fast or quick as he used to be. Although he was able to rumble 30 yards of yak off for the big one on the third down dump off yesterday. So, man, it's just good for Zach. A hell of a year, 2024. He comes back, proves he can still play. He and Julie have twins. So it's just been a tremendous year for him, and I'm really happy to see him get the game winner yesterday. Heck of a route, heck of a catch, and as I said, good pick. Pick the quarterback's second favorite target when all the other ones that are below him are unavailable.
He also got paid yesterday, Craig. Did you see that?
I did see this. He made $750K yesterday. Yeah. Touchdown bonus, reception bonus, yardage bonus. Hit them all.
One game. That's a hell of a game for him. You know, money, playoffs. Yeah, good gracious.
They call that a good day at the office, Anthony.
Number 5.
Jeremy Chin had a mixed day at the office. I think more good than bad in a couple of big-time highlight plays, Anthony. A couple of times where Kyle Pitts gets him. But that was maybe the best battle all day long, the one-on-one between Chin and Pitts. And it came up in some big spots. They both got their licks, figuratively and literally, in this one.
Yeah, definitely a good battle. I know he beat him on an out route and was able to get like 23 yards. That was like his biggest run. But outside of that, he gave up a slant. They tried him again down the field. He got a PBU. So I think he had a solid game. I think in the run game, though, to be honest, the first half, I think that was on everybody. Missing tackles, not filling, lanes and things of that nature. But for the most part, I think from a coverage standpoint, I think Jeremy played good. He also had another pass breakup on Hodge, the hit stick down the middle of the field, because that was a huge hit. But I thought he played solid. I thought the safety play in general was solid. Quan, he had the big interception to start the game, and then he also had a couple of good plays over the middle of the field.
Chin and Quan both had hits yesterday that get flagged a lot, but they were correctly not flagged. Like, they executed. That is a fine needle to thread. Yep. Those hit stick, dislodge the ball, do it without your helmet making contact with really anything. Make sure that you're not making contact with their head. They hit in the target area and were able to knock balls free. And I will also say this, on the game-tying touchdown to Kyle Pitts, that is a hell of a throw and catch by Penix and Pitts. Chin is all over Pitts, and that ball has to be down and away. You'd like Percy Butler to be underneath that more. Penix does a tremendous job of looking Bobby Wagner off. It's cover 2. So there's 5 defenders across, 2 defenders deep. And Pitts, it's 4 verts too. So against cover 2 and 4 verts, your inside receivers will try to widen out those flat players or the curl players and then bend in behind them, like your red zone 4 verts type of route. And that's exactly what they did. Percy gets a little bit wide. Penix does a good job. And then there's one player in the dead center of the field, and that player is Bobby Wagner. And Penix looks to his right, stares down the other seam. Bobby takes like 2 steps that way because he's reading quarterback eyes, and Penix knows he's coming back to Pitts, and Shin kind of knows it too, and he just is late. So I think overall a good day for Jeremy Chin. Their run game stuff was kind of on everybody. I don't think that he particularly was bad. I mean, he got blocked up a couple times. It happens. But I think to make the kind of plays that he did in the stress that he was under, because he could have easily picked up some PIs and said he got PBUs on some of the fade balls and stuff to Pitts on the outside, because he's basically playing outside corner against a guy who's basically a wide receiver. So it's a good job. Nobody get any ideas about having Jeremy Chin play for Michael Davis. That's not what I meant by that. It's different. It's a good job by Chin in a very small sample size.
Number 6.
Last but not least in our pick 6 at 6, Dante Fowler. What an interesting day he had, Anthony. What a tremendously interesting day. Because as a run defender, he really struggled. He graded out as a 41 on PFF, and I think that's probably right. He got washed out of the line of scrimmage. He tried to jump inside, got caught on that. He didn't get too far up the field. Like, Dante Fowler, run defender, first and second down against Bijan Robinson in this outside zone. Not great yesterday. However, pass rusher winds up with a sack fumble, winds up with a couple other pressures, gets held. Like, he made an impact later in this game. And I think the most significant coaching adjustment mid-game yesterday is the decision to say, we're going to put our best run-stopping edge, Jalen Holmes, out there on one edge, and we don't have a second best right now. So Deron Payne, you're going to play on the edge with John Allen, Sheldon Day, and Johnny Newton rotating inside, and those guys played very well. And Payne and Allen played really well together. John, deserves a shout out. Like, he played pretty well, I think, in his first game back. He was part of the problem in the first half with everybody else, but like, everybody's getting moved. Someone needs to stop the bleeding, and it's really kind of on that edge guy. And once Payne is out there, it's a different story. And Holmes is not giving you a ton as a pass rusher, but like, he did a good job setting the edge as well, to the point that Zach Robinson kind of looks at it and he's like, I don't want to run at those guys. Let's just have Penix drop back. It's not going to be a pass rush. And the problem is, that's not really how Michael Penix wants to play. He's going to be much better in rhythm off of play action. And so just a tremendous adjustment from the Commanders coaching staff. They've played Payne on the edge a little bit already this year, but it's been more of in pass rushing situations where they'll get Luvu or Fowler inside and get some different matchups. To actually do it when he's going to have to play defensive end, first and second down, they could pass rush, could run style versus obvious passing situations, different beast, and he was ready. So credit to Deron, credit to the staff, and then, Fowler takes advantage of his opportunities once those run stops turn into obvious passing situations and pass rush opportunities.
And on Friday, I think you actually alluded to how Dante Fowler, how he likes to, jump inside the tight end and slice and things of that nature, how that could be a detriment against a team like this. Like, I think if we play the Rams, I think Dante Fowler's style might work a little bit better than against a team like the Falcons that likes to, get those edges.
The problem with the Rams is they have every run in the book that they can run. So if I'm Sean, I'm like, I know how to coach up outside zone. Like, we're gonna try to hit that against this team, because Philly's had success with it, Atlanta's had success with it, and then you see what you get. Because unlike Atlanta, wait, we're gonna make Matthew Stafford beat us? Like, no. So it's risky. So it's tough. The NFL's hard. Imagine that, especially when you're playing playoff teams. But good on the Commanders for figuring it out yesterday. Staff, players, everybody come together for the win. That's our pick 6 at 6. We'll do it again one more time in the regular season on Friday and Monday. Pick 6 during the week. We give you the biggest Commander storylines. 6 o'clock tomorrow, our one day off of the pick 6. Our NFL tier rankings return. When we get back here on the Team 980, we wrap things up with real things real people said into real microphones before Wizards basketball pregame at 6:45. the Hoffman Show. We're on the Team 980, always live as well on the free Odyssey app. Tonight here on the Team 980, you got Wizards and Knicks, and then you'll pick up Monday Night Football after that. Tomorrow on the radio show, sir, what do we have, Anthony Haney? Anything of note that we need to let the people know about? We got a Tischler Tuesday. We'll have some Take Command tape review of another Jaden Daniels masterful performance. Tears, and it's New Year's Eve. And we might have a special guest in studio. And by in studio, I mean in my house. That's a TBD.
Are we doing competition Wednesday tomorrow? Also, you owe wings. I think I should just get wings, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that on Thursday.
Well, competition Wednesday or the wings?
That's the wings. That's what I'm saying. We could do that. Well, part of what I was thinking about doing, Anthony, so initially, truth be told, Anthony was going to come over to my house tomorrow night after the show, and we do a low-key New Year's Eve where we do a bunch of, like, handheld snacks and stuff, and Anthony was going to come over and join me and my wife and a couple other people, and now Anthony's other plans have changed, and he's not going to be able to make it. So I was thinking about doing the wings tomorrow night.
Oh, no!
But now you got your plans changed.
All right, I'm about to go. Dang, I gotta figure something out then. I gotta figure something out.
All right, we'll talk. So there might be a way, and if either way, when we do it, if we do it live on the radio, that'll be one thing. If not, then we'll obviously capture it and we can play it. But we'll make sure that's captured for the show. And then I don't know, TBD on competition Wednesday tomorrow versus Thursday. There's no Thursday night football this week, so we're not in as big of a rush if we want to push that till Thursday. So I'm thinking we might wind up doing that. All right. So that's tomorrow. As for now, I was told, quote unquote, the real things we have in the folder is hilarious, and thus it is time, everybody. Including you, computer that fires the thing.
Real things.
We're not going to be so this year.
Real people.
5 and 11, not very good.
Set into real microphones.
You know, the culture is actually damn good.
All right, let's see. It says, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and the Knicks try to talk like New Yorkers. Oh, God. Here we go.
New York accent, huh?
Yeah. Yo, you mad loud. How you doing? You bugging, B.
Forget about it.
You know the vibes. Yeah.
You bugging, yo.
How you doing?
Mad hot outside. It's mad cold outside. I'm mad.
Yo, you gonna be tight, son.
You heard? It's wild brick
It's
outside.
mad brick outside.
It's mad brick out, man. It's brick out here.
Yo, you see the butters? Them just fresh.
You know how to break out the butters.
Your butters ain't clean.
Ooh, I got the butters on.
Those shoes go dumb.
Yeah, you getting me tight right now.
Are you bugging, bro? You bugging, OD.
Dude, that had me in tears. I'm mad.
That one, that's really funny. That's a good ad lib there. It is kind of funny because like my cousins are all New Yorkers, and I got a bunch of family up there, and it's not wrong.
Are you familiar with the Yuttas or the Butters? They
Yeah.
said Butters, but in New York they also call them Yuttas.
That I've never heard.
Yeah, Yuttas.
Talking about the Tims, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite New York words?
I don't think there's any that I use. I mean, the "your" is hilarious.
Yeah,
don't
I think
actually
that's
do that.
universal.
Yeah, but like most people, it's "yo." In New York, "your."
That's me.
I've never actually said it's like mad. I've heard of brick, like it's mad cold outside.
Yeah.
Mad, like the mad thing. I definitely use that some.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that that's something I probably picked up from my cousins.
Oh, one of the words they didn't use, facts.
Is that a New York thing?
I think so.
It sounds like it, but
like,
I don't know.
Like when I was at Syracuse, all the people that I knew from the city always said facts.
No, I guess that's
Facts.
true. A lot of the people that I'm thinking about right now.
I'm like, bro, what? At first,
You think they were talking about
At
a fax
first I-
machine?
when I first heard them say facts, I thought they were talking about FAX, and I was like, well, I think you weren't talking about facts. And then it hit me one day. I was like, oh, they're saying facts as in like factual. I really had to I had to figure that out. I want to say I spent my entire freshman
mad
year.
slow, huh?
Yes. I spent my entire freshman year trying to figure out what they meant by facts.
Freshman.
And I was too prideful to like ask.
There was something. Oh, this is what it was. My wife has a group chat going right now with a couple of her friends, and we often do sushi on Friday nights, and we call it emotional support sushi. You just make it to the end of a long week, and you're like, I need some emotional support. How about emotional support sushi? Which she has now truncated to ESS. And she put ESS in her group chat, and then one of her, like, two of the people didn't know what it meant, and one of them was like, okay, I have to ask, what's ESS? And Rachel said it. They're like, oh, yeah, you talk about that all the time. And then the other one was like, I'm so glad you asked because I was a coward and didn't know what it meant. Didn't want to ask. Anyway, Wizards basketball's next. See you tomorrow.